Greetings everyone, and welcome to Progressive Discussions. This is Progressive Discussions coming to you from the Newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey. And it happens to be Saturday, January 14th, 2012. This is, I believe, the second Progressive Discussions of the new year, and also the 102nd Progressive Discussions, 102, number 102. And it happens to be Esmeralda's birthday, the personal assistant to the Wizard Azibuko. Happy birthday, Esmeralda.
Happy birthday.
She's a Capricorni, a Garnet girl. Capricorni, if you follow astrology. January 14th. Okay, now, get right to the 2 points, actually. Oh, let's see. Excuse me while I put on my reading glasses. Oh, by the way, this is me prop. It is a Blackthorn Irish Shillelagh, weapons grade, imported from Ireland, and it helps me emphasize certain things. It's like an Irish gavel. Okay? I'm not Irish, but I love me Shillelagh. Alright? It's got the shamrock of authenticity, as you can see. Alright? Now, let's see. Let's get this out of the way first, before getting to the nitty-gritty of this week's show. Now, recently, very popular, very famous, and rightfully so, and very attractive, may I say, singer Beyonce gave birth to a new baby. She was in Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City with her her husband, I suppose, rap singer. I don't know his name offhand, but I don't follow rap.
Is that Jay-Z?
Is it Jay-Z?
I don't know.
Jay-Z.
It's either Jay-Z or Kanye, ain't it?
Yeah, he's not...
I think. I don't
yeah,
know.
so anyway, I'm not into it, rap, so I don't know, but I know he's a rap singer. Anyway, they interviewed him one time. He sounds like a nice young man. He sounds like a smart, sincere young man who came from a tough background that I hear manages his money very well for a young guy nowadays. He's got his head screwed on right. Maybe Beyonce smartened him up, you know. But of course, Satan always tries to throw monkey wrenches in our show. A cat wants to go out.
That's our mouser.
Yeah, well...
Don't talk when you open the door.
You got a lot of mouses.
There we go.
Oh,
that's one of our mousers.
Yeah, Old Glory got... okay, there we go. Anyway... Beyonce. Having the baby. Now, the problem is not that Beyonce, a married woman, which is very refreshing for young people nowadays to get pregnant, to get knocked up and give birth while being actually married. That's not the problem. The problem is the hospital administration, I guess, upper management there at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York, decided to close off the hospital and not permit other soon-to-be fathers from, to prevent them from entering Lenox Hill Hospital and watching the birth of their children, of their child, their babies, and spending time with their wife and newborn baby. Many of the fathers had to wait hours, 3 hours or more, just to see their own newborn child because hospital security refused to allow entry of other fathers to be with their wives while they were giving birth and to be in the room while the baby was born. Because why? Because Beyonce and her husband wanted the hospital to themselves. And it reminds me of the story I read a while ago, I believe it was Europe. Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, was at a mall in Europe, a shopping mall, and she insisted that the mall be closed off to all customers and just allow her to shop. Wow. So what I'm trying to say is people that are celebrities, that are stars, people that are in the spotlight, think they're better than other people, and they demand special treatment. Now, this wasn't right. Now, of course, the parents, the husbands, the fathers and the parents of the other children that were born there are very upset about it, and there is an investigation taking place. Well, what I'm trying to get to is that the man with the Napoleonic complex, the right-wing Republican little fascist that was trying very hard to prevent the Occupy protesters from doing their thing. Mayor Michael Bloomberg, Bloom Scum, whatever you want to call him, he made a statement. He says, well, the other fathers really have a right to see their newborn babies, but how often does a hospital get a patient that is able to pay in full? Meaning, and my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, who's sitting right over here. Oh, by the way, how are you, sir? I forgot to ask you.
Cold.
You're chilly, right?
Yeah.
Now, you know where this is leading to. Okay, celebrities demand special treatment, but Bloomberg, a conservative and a billionaire also, says that how often does a hospital get a patient who can pay in full, meaning that if you can pay in full, if you're rich, you should have more rights in a hospital than other people? What happened to the Hippocratic Oath? What happened to the whole medical profession being dedicated to helping people who need help, the sick?
It became a hypocrite oath.
The hypocrite oath.
Yeah. And, Mr. Bloomberg should understand that hospitals were not supposed to be privatized and profit centers in that manner.
Well, of course.
They were supposed to be public institutions, non-profits, whatever.
Right, because you shouldn't really have a greedy profit-making organization in the healthcare industry. People have a right in a normal, fair, free democracy to an education, no matter how poor you are, to a respectable retirement, basics needs being met, and also to healthcare, to good healthcare. Now, so celebrities are special. They want shopping malls closed off just for them, to the public. They want, who knows, restaurants. In this case, it's a hospital. So these other fathers were very upset. I would be too. And, of course, the administration of Lenox Hill Hospital, the top banana there, he was making excuses and denied that his security was keeping away other fathers from seeing their newborns. And
yes, it was very confusing.
Yeah,
the article or whatever.
Yeah, but they were not allowed access to see their own newborns, and this statement by Bloomberg shows his true colors. So if you have money and you're rich and you can pay in full, you're more important.
You should be treated special.
You should be treated special.
Yeah.
And that was his answer, a very right-wing conservative Republican answer, especially by a billionaire right-wing conservative Republican. You have more money, you have more rights, and you know what? In other words, he was condoning the decision made by Lenox Hill Hospital. That's it, flat out. Now, getting on to the title of the show, I want to start off, because this is deep, I want to start off by talking about Mr. Tim Tebow.
Oh, boy.
Now, some people say, don't blame Tim Tebow, it's the media hype that's making him, that's blowing this whole thing out of proportion. All Tim Tebow wants is to play football, but he knows the camera's on him, and every chance he gets, he has to shove his right-wing fundamentalist religiosity in everybody's face. He's always kneeling and praying and, thinking that God cares about professional sports and cares about the Broncos winning and cares about Tim Tebow's passes being accurately thrown, whatever he prays about, but he's constantly doing it. And he is a right-wing fundamentalist, a typical holy roller, a zealot, that has the bat phone and the stovepipe to God and knows what's best for you and tries to save your soul if you're not like them or him. Now, my answer to these people, these right-wing fundamentalist, conservative, zealot, holy rollers, is that now they believe in an immortal soul. They believe that your soul flies out of your body and will fly out of your body during the tribulation and be raptured up in the sky to meet with Jesus and be saved. Now, my first question is, if we have an immortal soul that's destined to fly out of our bodies, then why on earth would we require a
resurrection? God's gift of eternal life for those who become his children.
Right. That's an important thing to bring up. Why?
And in the first resurrection, that will be the elect.
Which is 144,000 only. Only. All right. Okay, now. Okay. Another thing is that right-wing fundamentalists, born-again holy rollers, they're always talking about having a personal relationship with God and or Jesus. They're always talking to God and or Jesus, treating him like he was a genie in a bottle or a lamp or a Santa Claus, bothering him with every little trivial part of their lives, like, God...
Like a football game?
Like a football game or a parking space in the case of Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
The sickening, saccharine, sweet smile that never leaves his face. Okay, now, I'm leading up to this question here. Now, okay, they think that God would lower himself to talk about everyday, mundane, little stupid things with the average Joe six-pack. All right, sounds good. There is approximately 7 billion people on the planet Earth. But since only 144,000 people will be saved to rule in Jerusalem in the, the millennia you call
First resurrection.
First resurrection. Thousand.
And then the millennium. Yes.
Okay. Only 144,000 is not many.
12 from each tribe.
It's not many people.
12,000, excuse me.
Is this correct, Dr. Bill? It's not many people out of 7 billion.
Not a lot.
Percentage-wise.
Not a lot.
Percentage-wise, okay. So if it's only 144,000 saved of the elect to rule in Jerusalem out of 7 billion, then how on earth can your average person who decides to repent and be born again and become a holy roller cultist, because what they believe in is not of the Bible, how on earth can you, Tim Tebow, have a personal relationship with God? How?
Well,
he must think highly of himself if he's one of the 144,000 out of 7 billion.
You, of course, saw... Did you see the full-length version or the 27-minute version of Luther?
I only got to see the first... the
27
the Reformation?
Yes.
I saw the first video.
The 27 minutes.
And I dug
because it does have the full version up there.
Oh, really? In one video?
But you have to watch the 27-minute one first. And then the
really?
six other choices will come up.
Okay. There's a video. I saw a documentary a few days ago on late night TV. I don't know why they don't put it on earlier. Maybe the media doesn't want you to learn this. But it was a documentary about Martin Luther, who was a German during medieval times, during the 1500s. A German guy, a man who he had the balls and the courage to go up against the Roman Catholic Church at that time, who had a very evil, wicked, corrupt pope named Leo, right?
Pope Leo.
Pope
yeah.
Leo. Now,
Not the only one.
Now Luther, was he the first person? Was he the father of the Protestant?
The Reformation.
The Reformation.
Yeah.
He was the pioneer, right? He was like, I guess, like George Washington was to the American Revolution. You know, he was the first to start it all, and he was up against opposition galore. I mean, unbelievable opposition, and the prince of his province saved his ass. What was his name again?
Well, Frederick was
The prince of...
I guess he was the king, right, Frederick?
Well, at that time, Germany was made up of many small provinces.
Principalities.
It wasn't unified, like Italy. And I guess until Otto von Bismarck unified Germany, this is how it was. So the Inquisition or the Roman Catholic Church was hunting for him for heresy. They wanted to charge him with heresy and put him to death and excommunicate him in the whole 9 yards.
But remember,
All right, hold on. Okay.
He came out of the Catholic Church. He was a teacher. He was a theologist in the Catholic Church. He was a monk. He was whatever his grade was. And when he went to Rome, he saw the indulgences being sold. He saw all the corruption, the same as Jesus did when he threw the money changers out of the temple.
Yeah.
So he saw all this corruption. He saw all the opposition to what the Bible said, and that's why he nailed up the 95 Theses at the Wittenberg Church there and started the Protestant Reformation.
Right.
Because he came from within.
And many.
And saw all the corruption.
Right, and multitudes of Germans, even though this was a new approach to Christianity for Europe, a hell of a lot of Germans loved them and followed them. He published this book. Was it one book or more than one?
I'm not sure.
He published his writings,
He first published
the Reformation,
the
right?
95 Theses.
95 Theses. Okay.
95 things wrong with the Catholic Church. He put them up on the door of the Wittenberg Church.
So he's a pretty important guy in our history of Christianity.
Yeah.
Now, would you consider Martin Luther worth his weight to be one of the 144,000?
No.
He's not that much of a heavy hitter.
No way.
No, but he was.
He may have found corruptions and wrongdoings in the church,
And wrote about it.
but he was not part of the original Church of God.
No.
So, no,
Yeah,
he's not one. He's not going to be one of the 144.
Yeah, but after the disciples were martyred by the early Roman Catholic Church, the Christianity pretty much saw a lot of corruption and a lot of evil.
And it still
wickedness.
did under the Protestant Reformation. That's my point.
So there's the wickedness and the influences of Satan still later on continued with the Protestant movement.
Yeah. Just
Like-
a little at a time got changed. That's all.
Yeah, there's still things happening. Okay, so
Because when Herbert W. Armstrong came back, he had to restore all things
right. So in order
to the church that
So
is
in order
today.
to require a Herbert W. Armstrong to restore the truths,
The truth had to be. They went somewhere.
they got sabotaged. They got after Martin Luther, they got sabotaged, and knowing human nature, how vile it is, and how Satan, since he's on the planet Earth with his boys, his cronies, he's influencing everybody.
Well,
Now,
if you believe in God, and I don't mean believe, you have to prove it, but if you believe in God, then you must believe that there is only one true church, there is only one way to worship God, His way, not your way.
Yeah.
So, whatever Luther did to point up corruptions and things of that nature was only a small part of things.
Yeah.
Because the corruptions and distortions and all that other stuff remain because Satan has influenced all the churches.
Right.
All religions except one. If you believe in the God of the Bible, then that's how it went down.
Yeah.
There's only one true religion and church.
Okay, now, so we went over, we answered 2 questions, and all right, Tim Tebow, this would most likely be part of the title for today's 102nd Progressive Discussions. Tim Tebow, Fundamentalism is a cult not of the Bible and is all about vanity. Now, you mentioned this, Dr. Bill, about the right-wing holy roller fundamentalist born-againers and concerning vanity. Now, explain a little bit about why they're vain or what they do to be vain.
Well, they're vain because they invented their religion. It's not the religion that I just told you that God gave to humans. But one thing, Mr. Tebow.
Tim Tebow.
Going back to Mr. Tebow.
Right.
Mr. Tebow believes in hell.
Which the right
According to, I believe I just read that in Time magazine.
Well, the right-wing fundamentalists do believe in a Dante's Inferno type of...
Correct. Which the Bible does not preach in any way, shape, or form.
So they believe you have an immortal soul that is going to be raptured off the earth. They believe that you could talk to God constantly about stupid and little things. They believe, like you say, in a hell where they torture you as soon as if you're not saved.
Remember, in the movie Luther, he went to Rome and he gave a florin, which was the coin at that time.
Yeah.
He gave a florin to the guys that were selling the indulgences. One of his relatives that was in purgatory, and then he said if he had another coin, whatever the value was worth, he would have been able to save another relative of his from 500 years in purgatory or something. So these are the beliefs they carry on. Hey, you pray to Zeus today?
Zeus?
Zeus.
I'm not Greek.
I know, but is he around anymore?
No.
Is Zeus around anymore?
No.
Yet at the time, people devoted their lives to Zeus.
The head honcho.
Okay.
Apollo was a big heavy hitter.
Adonis, Diana, etc. Where are they today?
Where's Thor?
Whoa! Well, he was in the movies a little while ago. But where are they today? All of these gods. Odin.
Valhalla and living in Valhalla.
The Vikings.
I used to watch the old
world.
Remember the old Hercules movies with Steve Reeves?
Hercules.
No, that was the cartoon. With Hercules. You're gonna get me started, right? Singing. Hercules. No, Steve Reeves.
Here he comes to save the day.
No, that was Mighty Mouse.
He's a Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, that's who Tim Tebow wants to be. He wants to be like a superhero. He wants to save the souls of America or something. Now he wants to date famous pop singer Kate Perry. Why? Because Kate Perry's father is a minister and also a nut too, a religious nut. Yeah. So anyway. What was I saying? Steve Reeves would fly to Mount Olympus on Pegasus, the winged white horse. And, he would come up to like a building like the Pantheon, which was on the top of a mountain. Anyway. Parthenon. Now, Tim Tebow, he's a show-off. You look at his
everything you're mentioning here is vanity.
Vanity. Now, when you look at his website, they have pictures, photos of him trying to look cute, passing the football. And, and he's constantly, like Harvey Levin of TMZ said, he wears his religion on his sleeve. Now, does that mean...
That was important that you just said. His religion. Not God's religion. His religion.
because
And that's the trouble with all of those holy rollers that you're talking about. They have their own religion. They have created God in their own image. It is not the God of the Bible.
their ways, their teachings and beliefs are not in the Bible.
Correct.
So that's why they are a form of cult, correct?
Correct. All of them are called 99. If you believe in God, I said, if you believe in God, then you got to believe that there's only one religion and one way to worship Him, His way.
Now,
And He tells you that in His handbook, His manual. Don't you get a manual when you buy a new car?
yeah,
Tells
yes.
you what to do with the car.
Get a
and all
manual
this.
with every appliance known.
Well, the manual, God's manual, is the Bible. And it tells you how to worship Him. He's got 7 holidays. What do? They worship Christmas and Easter.
So it makes money.
And New Year's. Yeah, exactly. But it has nothing to do with God.
No, it has to do with paganism.
That's correct.
And but the thing is, they
Pagans can worship it, but, you know.
now they argue
Not a real
with
Christian.
they'll argue with you tooth and nail and insist that they're right with their cult. I'm talking about the Tim Tebow right-wing fundamentalist, holy roller, born-again people. But they'll never show you the scripture in the Bible to back up their beliefs. They don't do that. But they'll tell you you're wrong, and they'll sort of resort to name calling sometimes, and they will be judgmental and self-righteous, but they never back it up with scripture. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good, Thessalonians. They don't do that. And of course they support Republicans who are anti-poor, who have no compassion for the poor, who hate the
But who wear their religion on their sleeve.
yeah, they hate the poor. But if God is
Didn't you see that in
God is about helping the poor, the rich helping the poor. But you know why they vote Republican? Because Republicans are pro-life, anti-gay, anti-stem cell research, and so on and so on and so on.
human secularism.
Human secularism.
Anti.
They are so obsessed and entranced with their cult religious ideology that they don't even care about the economy of the nation. They don't care that
Hell no.
they don't care about the corporate plutocracy that the Republicans want to
Well, who the hell thinks so?
in the world. You know, you hear idiots like Santorum and the rest of them, you know, talking like they have a bat phone and a stovepipe to God.
Well, it was clearly pointed up. If you saw the Luther movie, you saw the grueling poverty that was around there, and then the richness of the church.
Why did...
It was glaring.
Well, could I ask you a question about something confused me about Martin Luther? Why was he against the peasant uprising against the lords? They were called serfs, the peasants? Serfs?
Serfs, yeah.
There was a huge revolt, an uprising, and he said that
That was not in the 27 minutes one.
well, in the documentary it was, and they mentioned
you're
that
talking about something I didn't see.
he said that the revolt, the revolution of the serfs against their lords in the 1500s in Germany was just as bad as the fat cats, just as bad as the what the lords were doing and what the Roman Catholic Church was doing. So he called the uprising
Because
wicked. Why on earth would he do
because
that?
he didn't believe in rebellion.
What the hell? What the hell? Yeah, but if you can't listen, if sometimes you got to cut the tumor out to solve the problem.
But the French Revolution, you know, cut the tumor out too, and then went bad. The Soviet Revolution did the same thing. The United States Revolution did the same thing.
Is this
what
similar
happened.
to the Pharisees or the Israelites being pissed off at Jesus for not fighting the Romans? Is this all similar?
Yeah, but because of God understood that if they did that, if he did that in that time period, it would go corrupt anyway. Because the devil owns this world, this earth at this time. He's the king. He's in charge. There's no bringing it to God at this time. The only improvements that man is going to make are small.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's funny. They
but
do.
The devil will prevent
Yeah.
that.
They do have. They feel they are representing God, the right-wing holy rollers, and Tim Tebow feels that way, and they all feel that way. And let's just hope that the New England Patriots defeat the Denver Broncos and sack. I repeat, sack Tim Tebow so many times that he will be permanently in the kneel down position.
Oh boy.
Well, anyway, nevertheless, I decided to dedicate this show to the late, great Martin Luther. All right, even though he's been dead for hundreds and hundreds of years.
But
nobody really gives him any
his legacy lives on.
Immediate time. Yeah.
His legacy lives on.
He had the courage, and I think he mentioned that Galileo in science was persecuted by the Roman Catholic Church, didn't he?
Yeah.
He mentioned that?
Yeah, well, the Pope had him in house arrest.
Yeah, all science.
Wouldn't let him teach anymore.
All science was
of course,
suppressed.
Because it went against faith. Look, every religion on the face of this earth, 99% of it, if you believe in God,
right,
its only grounding is in faith.
Right.
It has no science.
Right.
There's no science to the fact of how God created the universe and this, that, and the other thing, or anything that comes out of religion. It's all faith. It has to be taken on faith.
Yeah.
But when you do that, when you take things on faith, you have no grounding, you have no basis, you have nothing. That's why 5 Thessalonians 21 says, prove all things, and hold fast that which is good.
Yeah.
That's the job that the Tebows of the world are supposed to be doing. They're not supposed to be professing some religion that they believe that they have all the answers to. They're supposed to be searching.
Well, so many people on Facebook are bucking heads with me, saying that we're haters for criticizing Tim Tebow and the right-wing fundamentalist practices. We're haters. No, we're not. We're just tellers of the truth. These people don't know their Bibles, but they're going along with the flow of the hype. Maybe that's what my friend, Tori was telling me. Tori Haynes was telling me.
Well, it's the same thing.
The hype. It's media hype, but they're going with it. Anybody who's in the spotlight, who is surrounded by tremendous media hype, and this guy is like a big show-off when it comes to his religion. So people love it. They love the feel. Excuse me. They love the feel-good experience. Like a famous evangelist who happens to be, even though he's a crook, people love his charisma. They love to feel good.
Well, they also love to be part of something. Now, you saw in Luther, he was part of the Roman Catholic Church at that time. And this was, of course, before all those things began to upset him and prey upon his mind.
Right.
He was part of it. That's how he made his living. That's how he taught. It was part of him. Well, it's the same thing with all these people, the holy rollers. They become part of this established, traditional way of thinking.
Right.
But they never go around and say, like Luther did. Let me check this, the selling of indulgences, with the Bible. Uh-oh, it's not in there.
Aha. He was an independent free thinker.
It was a way to make moolah.
With an open mind. I mean Luther,
Well, that's what happened. Yeah, he began to think like that. Because you could actually say that where he fought his own mind, because he did not think that God was with him. So he fought in his own mind
Mm-hmm.
when certain bad things were going on, etc. And so he questioned.
Yeah.
And that is the beginning of knowledge, when you question.
A lot of people don't do that.
That's correct.
They're adaptive supporters.
That's correct.
Like the people I bucked heads with on Gary Knoll, Dr. Gary Knoll's website. These people never post comments about any important subject that I put up there. They have nothing to say. But as soon as somebody says, oh, somebody, you know, Gary Knoll says anybody who, maybe it wasn't Gary, maybe it was the guy who runs his website. You know, if anybody resorts to name calling, you know, unfair personal attacks, they will be removed from the friends list and their comments will be removed. All of a sudden, everybody comes out of the woodwork whining and bitching and moaning about people doing that. Meanwhile, they had nothing to say about anything important, about politics, about the environment, about what Monsanto is doing with the genetically modified.
Well, they do that. They do that in their own way because they want you to.
But I watched Gary Knoll's profile. They don't post anything.
They post it on mine all the time.
The Gary Knoll people.
PRN is there all the time in the different shows.
I'm talking Gary does it, and Gary's the people that work for Gary Knoll do it. But the people, the minions, that they don't have anything to say online about important subjects.
Well,
they don't get involved.
Well, he certainly gets enough email.
I
thousands and thousands. He can't answer it all.
I guess he does, but they don't want to post any discussion, any comments online to get it.
They save that for his website or whatever.
You know, I know people do it on YouTube all the time, but you know. All right, listen. Let's get to the first article.
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Is it about the very rotund, gluttonous favorite character of mine?
Yes.
Oh, bless his little chubby heart.
Time to steal the donuts.
I didn't even know it was about. Is it about him?
Yes.
Bless his heart, a little fatso. Hey, get a load of. Remember Honeymooners? Hey, get a load of fatso there. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Apparently, that's also the way to steal Governor Christie's heart. In an interview with talk show queen Oprah Winfrey, set to air this weekend, the governor said...
Oh, no. Oprah's... This guy doesn't need more popularity? Shit.
The governor said he knew that he had found a partner for life in wife Mary Pat when she suggested making an illicit late-night donut run.
Who made a late-night donut run?
His wife-to-be.
Oh, so she won his heart. So the way to Chris Christie's heart is through cake, through donuts.
Through his stomach.
His stomach, yeah. It sounds like Homer Simpson, you know, with the lard lad donuts on the Simpson cartoon. Isn't that so apple-lickable? Apple-lickable.
The governor and Winfrey also dished about their struggle with weight and about presidential politics.
He struggles with weight, Chris Christie? I think he struggles if he doesn't get
to have a personal trainer.
His personal trainer is the caterer that supplies his food. No, this is what he does. This is Chris Christie's exercise. Lower fork to plate, pick up food, lift fork to mouth.
Bending the elbow.
Eat food. Oops. And back down again. That's his version of doing bicep curls. Give me a break.
A full transcript of the interview was obtained in advance by the Associated Press. The hour-long interview, filmed at Christie's home in Medham, New Jersey, is airing Sunday at 9 p.m. on the Oprah Winfrey Network.
And of course, the very wealthy Oprah Winfrey will probably be very nice to him.
Christie and Winfrey spoke at length about controlling their weight and managing the criticism about it. Specifically, what it feels like to be on the short end of a David Letterman fat joke.
David Letterman has been nailing Christie every night with Chris Christie fat jokes. I'm proud of him, man. David Letterman. Salute with the shillelagh, David Letterman. I mean, it's funny as hell, you know. I mean, it really is, but it's like, oh shit, you know. He's typical Republican. Republicans are greedy, so therefore it's only natural that Republicans are gluttonous, because gluttony is like greed. It's similar to greed. You know? Hey, finish up.
It didn't bother you? Winfrey asked. Because let me tell you, when David Letterman was making jokes about me, it bothered me. I think it was girded for it. I think I was girded for it, Oprah. I really do, Christie responded, saying he had developed a shell about it.
A shell?
Yes, like a turtle.
Well, he's kind of shaped like a big tortoise when you think about it. Galapagos tortoise.
A gluttonous tortoise.
A gluttonous Galapagos tortoise. Gluttonous Galapagos.
The conversation also hit more serious overtones as Winfrey asked him, Mary Pat and their 4 children, about the pressure of being asked to run for president.
Oh, so much pressure. I'm sure he didn't have any pressure when he terminated the food pantries in New Jersey and tried to terminated all the social programs for the poor. I'm sure he didn't feel pressure about that.
Sarah, 15 years old, lamented to Winfrey about being banned from having a Facebook page. By the way,
banned.
Who backed us up on you not having a Facebook account? Christie asked. Mark Zuckerberg, co-creator of the social networking site, Sarah answered.
Oh, really? Well, Zuckerberg, Zucker Geek, that little eagle-beaked hawk, eagle-beaked little geek, has his work cut out for him because there's so many glitches on Facebook. Number one. Number two, he's involved with, you know, making more money with your personal information. I hear he's involved in some spamming crap, you know, or allowing spamming, or selling your personal info. He's involved.
That's what it's all about.
His wheels are turning behind the scenes. Let's put it that way.
That's what it's all about.
And there's a lot of funny things that go on Facebook that happen. A lot of mysterious glitches.
Christie, Zuckerberg, and Cory Booker, Newark mayor, a Democrat, appeared on Winfrey's talk show in September 2010.
I like Cory Booker. He's pretty.
Well, how come he promised to stop the killing and the murder in Newark?
Oh, then that means Cory Booker is probably like the old David Dinkins in New York City, where he just had a hands-off policy to crime because maybe he don't want to hassle the brothers. You know what I mean?
No, but it was a bad time financially when Dinkins was there.
Yeah, but Cory Booker has support of Christie when it comes. Because Republicans, they have there's one good thing about Republicans. They usually are very tough on crime, and
the only problem is they do not discriminate in the proper way. They discriminate in the wrong way.
You mean they racially profile?
They do. Look at Mr. Scary Perry and Mr. G.W. Bush down in Texas.
Oh, they don't.
The killers. They love to kill.
Well,
innocent people on death row.
Oh yeah, Letterman made a joke about Rick Perry loving to execute people. He did the lever, you know, the electrocution lever, and he had the people on stage, you know, go, you know, make the lights go in and out. Yeah, well, Republicans love that.
Yes, they do.
Especially if you're a poor person of color and also a rabble-rouser, and you get in trouble. They don't like people of color. They don't like Latin immigrants. or even if you're a Latin American, if you're born in the United States, Republicans out west and down south don't like you. They're a bunch of racist rednecks.
Correct.
That's how they are. Like, remember Basil Marceau? Of Tennessee? Yeah.
Anyway, at that time in September 2010, they announced Facebook was pledging $100 million donation to Newark schools. How much of that is going to get to the kids?
When it comes to New Jersey politics, very little or nothing.
Christie said he wanted his daughter to wait until she was a little older, given his position, so that she can better handle the opportunity for mischief that Facebook provides. A position, he said, Zuckerberg supported. Winfrey, who endorsed Barack Obama in 2008, asked Christie what he thought of Obama's chances for re-election.
Bad idea to bring up Obama to Christie.
He is as good a politician as I've ever seen. I think he's very charismatic, and I think he's genuine. I think what he says he believes, he believes. That's a very dangerous politician.
To have enthusiasm. Well, the Republicans do that.
No. What they say, they don't believe.
Oh, really? So what you're saying is the real truth, the real underlying truth. Right-wing Republicans, they know what they're saying are lies.
Why do you think they are now telling Newt Gingrich, Salamander, and Rick Perry to cool it and stop pointing up that Romney is a vulture capitalist? Because that is exactly what Republicans believe in.
They're calling Romney a vulture capitalist?
Because he is.
But isn't that one of the hallmarks of the Republican Party?
That's why I'm saying it, but that they don't like it being brought out in public like that. Well, the Salamander and Rick Perry are doing.
Well, people of the right-wing ilk, they cause even more problems for the United States, because between disrespecting the dead in Afghanistan with that video of the U.S. Soldiers urinating on the dead bodies, Afghani bodies on the ground, and the execution of Iranian nuclear scientists, and of course they're blaming
Abu Ghraib.
Huh?
Abu Ghraib.
They're blaming the United States,
yes,
for this.
And it's probably true.
You think Israel's involved in that? Maybe.
It's probably true.
Maybe. Executing the Iran's nuclear scientists?
If you look back, did you see Jesse Ventura's book, 63 Documents the United States government doesn't want you to see?
No, I have not.
Well, it shows you all of the countries that we have gone in there with the CIA and caused mayhem out all these years.
Coups
and whatever.
Yeah, but what business do we have to stick
None!
our Pinocchio nose in other countries? Interesting.
But somewhere along the line, it's good for big business.
I honestly, I got to go on record and say I despise corporate CEOs. I despise elitists. I wish them nothing but bad luck. I hate them. Okay.
Well, unfortunately, they do not like luck.
They want to seal the deal.
That's correct. They take over, baby. They don't try to leave too much to luck.
Look at Monsanto.
Exactly. Look at Monsanto.
Now they have to create, the people representing the good of the world have to create a variety of corn that is resistant to the genetically modified Monsanto gene. I was reading today.
I was informed the other day.
Why do we have to resort to this crap?
There's no reason, because we are not we make enough food to feed the 7 billion, 9 billion, some even say more than that.
Now I have to.
The world.
Now I have to stop using Quaker old-fashioned hominy grits because I don't trust the corn in the Quaker hominy grits. I'm sure, since Quaker is an American company, I'm sure the corn is genetically modified Monsanto corn.
Correct.
So I will have to buy certified organic Bob's Red Mill hominy grits, or maybe a Whole Foods brand certified organic.
I was informed the other day that every single lime in this country is imported.
That's true.
This is a country. Did you see the news article about the orange juice imported from Brazil, which had pesticide in it?
Oh, sure.
We have no reason to import oranges in this country. Now, whoever made those trade deals, it reminds me of the one that G.W. Bush made with India. We will give you nuclear information and secrets for your mangoes.
Mangoes. I heard when they outlawed DDT, the companies that made DDT sold it to overseas to Latin America.
And then we imported the food.
Then the food, the DDT comes back.
There you go.
Holy
wonderful.
Man.
Wonderful.
I'm telling you, man, this shillelagh is going to end up with a lot of high mileage on it. Between now and
one more in here before the break time.
Yeah, one.
Speaking of
isn't it a long article?
Politicians, yes it is, but I can get through it.
Okay, I'll shut my mouth.
An array of Republicans and conservatives, including some of Mitt Romney's sharpest critics.
Mitt Romney, my sister says, is his mother's name a glove? Is his grandmother's name Girdle? Girdle Romney? Mitt Romney. Poor guy.
Romney's sharpest critics rushed to the GOP presidential frontrunner's defense on Thursday to counter efforts to paint the former venture capitalist as a job killer.
Vulture is right.
That's why I was going to say it, but they only call them venture capitalists.
Blackthorn at its best.
Under fire, Romney rivals Newt Gingrich and Rick Perry backed off from directly attacking Romney's tenure at the helm of Bain Capital.
Wow.
We're disappointed with the line of criticism, said Thomas Donahue, the head of the United States Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
A traitor, by the way, to the United States, the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, wouldn't surprise me.
They just love to sniff ass of the big boys.
So they like to polish the knobs of the corporate CEOs. A good knob polishing. They're cocksuckers and knob polishers.
The business group doesn't endorse presidential campaigns, but Donahue said, "We think Romney has had a pretty good track record. Perfect, hell no, but damn good." So what Romney did with Bain Capital was to take over businesses that were doing well and destroying them and laying off people and loading up the companies with debt so that they went bankrupt. And Mr. Donahue calls that a pretty good record and almost perfect. A vulture capitalist. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, who ran against Romney 4 years ago, wrote in an online letter, "It's surprising to see so many Republicans embrace that left-wing argument against capitalism." And another 2008 foe, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, the guy that was... Hey, we didn't see him. We thought he would
He was on Fox News the other day.
He's not running this time?
No.
He was
He's
ranting.
got a job at Fox News now.
The last time I saw him doing public speaking, he was ranting and raving about how the public option for health care in America is the wrong idea.
Yes, of course.
Oh, but he has the best health insurance, mind you.
Of course. He told Fox News Channel, "I'm shocked at what they are doing. I'm going to say it's ignorant, dumb. It's building something we should be fighting. Ignorance of the American economic system." See? So what Romney did is exactly the American capitalist economic system.
Interesting.
Destruction. Romney's new defenders, many of whom have long histories of disagreeing with the former Massachusetts governor, argued that the attacks on his business record undermine the GOP's identity. Comprende? So, in a moment of weakness, they actually tell the truth. They actually tell the truth about themselves.
They must march in lockstep in order to attain their agendas, right?
Yeah, and to protect their true identity.
True identity. Protect the true identity. Interesting.
And weakened the party's chief argument against Democratic President Obama, that aimed the economy's recovery.
Same story.
And while actually there's no proof of that whatsoever, because public organizations and things, the firemen, the police, the schools, the post office, they actually are better run than private entities.
Privatization has a track record of failing. And they lie about cutting taxes from the rich creates jobs in the United States, and they keep on talking about job creators and job killers.
But it's all lies.
It's lies. Your job, listen, I don't care if every single corporation in America, and they probably do, if they pay no taxes at all, and they probably don't, and they can also, by the way, they write off the cost of labor. So I don't know why they bitch and moan about unions and salaries and all that stuff. Anyway, all of your American jobs are outsourced to third world countries and mainland China.
And while the latest comments were more a rejection of attacks on Romney's record at Bain than an endorsement of Romney as a candidate, they signaled a warming toward Romney by a cross-section of the GOP as his party struggles to settle on a more conservative alternative. They also signaled that attempts by Gingrich, a former House Speaker, and Perry, the Texas governor, to cast Romney as a cold-blooded predator, which he is, in the business world, appeared to be backfiring badly and playing right into the Romney campaign's hands.
Interesting. That's the end of that article, right?
That's the end of that.
Oh, by the way, have you checked out the new look of the radio station and a Cyber Church of God?
I have not, because I don't have enough time whilst I go on the computer.
Okay. Evidently you don't.
I'm a very busy man with limited time on the computer.
Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, operating the newsletter Censored Research Center. I got to do a little Howard Cosell.
However,
Research Center is a very busy man, huh?
However, I did the other day listen to the latest article, the reading of it, which is archived.
Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about...
And I saw the...
you're talking about the article, the reading that is on video.
Yes.
Are you talking about censored...
Without natural fiction.
Are you talking about censored on demand?
That's correct.
And did you see the nice little format?
That's correct. Now, I don't know if it's possible to make a change
what
to
happened?
that. It might be more advantageous to use a different font and a larger font for the www.newslettercensored.com.
The font that let me explain something to you. The size of the font that I use, because of the number of letters, like I give an example.
I know what you're saying.
The other ones are giant. They're big, right? But because of the number of letters or characters on one line,
Yeah.
the only way I could do it where it doesn't look stupid is just to go newslettercensor.com and leave out the www.
Or you might just take.
But are people doing that?
Just take
in
the
business?
Just take the colors away then, because it's.
No, but the colors have no bearing on the size of the font.
No, but you can't read it. It has bearing on readability.
And in order for the red, white, and blue to not impair your reading, the font has to be extra jumbo.
Yeah.
Extra jumbo.
Like the other stuff. The other stuff is fine.
Well, what can be done is most likely, hold on, the heating system. What can probably be done, Dr. Bill, is that the www maybe the link, the www.newslettercensor.com may have to be the www has to be removed. It has to be. There's got to be another way to do it.
Just if you can change, just use a plain font, plain readable font.
Well, the size will be the same because of the it's too many letters in one line.
That's fine.
Anyway.
But just take the colors away.
Yeah, but then it's gonna look ordinary.
That's what you want when you're dealing with websites.
No, I can't be ordinary. I have to be dynamic.
But if they can't read it,
I have to be flamboyant, brother. I have to be.
If they can't read it, it serves no purpose.
Like superstar Billy Graham and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I cannot be ordinary.
If they can't read it, it serves no purpose.
If they can't read it, they need a shot of shillelagh upside their head so they can focus better. Listen,
you are giving information.
I will work on the problem. I'll try. All right. Anyway, Dr. Bill has to partake in his. Last time I said astronomical by mistake. His gastronomical delight, known as lunch, followed by high green tea. We'll be back in a bit. We are back. Right now, my mentor and co-host, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, is eating. He's indulging in the gastronomic delight as lunch. He's having
pee-pee.
No, he's not eating any dick. He's
pasta and pork.
Pasta and pork. It's, what is it, rigatoni?
Yeah.
Of course, organic whole grain rigatoni with homemade spaghetti sauce and what is it, pecorino romano or Parmesan cheese, and
something
pork
like that.
and pork. Now, I was going to say my grandmother used to brown fresh pork neck bones as well as Italian sausage in a skillet, and she would put that into the spaghetti sauce, and man, did it taste great. She would cook that sucker. She would slow simmer that sauce for hours with the pork neck bones and the meatballs. You know, if you have the time and the effort, you can do meatballs. She made braciole. Two kinds of braciole, flank steak and pigskin. And there's nothing like pork to flavor spaghetti sauce. Nothing like it. And the neck bones are very inexpensive. You know, today, fresh pork neck bones are great. A lot of good meat on it. She used to put oxtails, even though they're not really oxtails, they're beef tails. God knows why they still call them oxtails, but she used to brown those and add them to the spaghetti sauce. You know.
That's real Italian, buddy.
You know, but I noticed one thing. If you make your spaghetti sauce with a very long cooking time, the acidity of the tomatoes does not really give me heartburn. If I do the quick, you know, where you have the very chunky, bright red tomato sauce.
Or a quick marinara.
The quick marinara, I get heartburn. Interesting. And then I have to take antacids.
Also, the longer you cook the tomato,
The lycopene.
the lycopene is better. It's the better for your prostate.
It's easy. It's easier to assimilate.
Yeah.
The lycopene, which is the, like beta carotene, is part of the pigmentation of the red vegetable or fruit, in this case, the red fruit, and it's actually more effective than beta carotene as an antioxidant. It's ideal for protecting the prostate in men. Anyway, I'm going to do promo. This guy, you see me do this every week, but I'm going to do it again. This is a self-portrait of my mentor and co-host, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. This is a self-portrait watercolor painting because Dr. Bill is a fine watercolor artist. You can view the William J. Eisenman collection of fine watercolor art by going to Google and typing in William J. Eisenman collection. And if that doesn't come up, also type in Megalife 21, and you will see almost all of his work. Not all of it, because he's always painting new projects. Almost all of his work on a slideshow video to Caribbean steel drum music. Now, what were you going to say?
There's the new one in progress.
Right. Well, let me show it when it's done. I mean, it's not done yet, right?
No.
Yeah.
Might
Why
be
show?
interesting though.
Huh?
It might be interesting though.
Okay, I'll show it. You can go to the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile if you can see if the album is visible to the public, or you can go to newslettercensor.com and you can look at his work there. If you see something you like, email Dr. Bill and ask him if the painting is still available, and make him an offer, a gift. The bidding usually starts at $500 each, but if you make a decent gift offering for the painting, you will receive a free annual subscription to Censored, the newsletter, along with the painting. But it has to be, it has to be a premium gift offering. These are fine, original watercolor paintings signed by my partner here, Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. Okay, so you ham and eggers out there that do not appreciate fine art, you most likely cannot afford one of his paintings. Now, before I promote the newsletter, let me just quickly show you the painting in progress. Is this your second to the new one, or? This is the new one.
This is a brand new one.
Brand new. I'm just wondering if you finished another one that I did not put into the slideshow. No, you did. Two
landscapes.
So you got two landscapes, and this one will most likely be the next painting.
I put the landscapes away. They're not going anywhere.
You decided not to make them public for whatever reason. You decided. Okay. See this here? Let me know.
It's hard to read.
Yeah, I know.
Down, somewhere's around there.
All right.
I think.
Okay. See this? This is his new watercolor painting in progress. What is the name of it?
I don't know.
Or who is it? Is this woman fictitious?
Mm-hmm.
She does not. She might exist somewhere in the world, but it's no one that Dr. Bill knows. It's out of his imagination. This is a brand new painting. It is not done. I repeat, this watercolor painting is not finished. It is in progress. All right? I'm sure it looks nice on video. Let me return it. Now for the newsletter. Let me get the newsletter. Here we go. This is what started it all. in 1977, founded by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. Censored. The real hard-hitting truth that you will not hear anywhere in the mainstream media or the mainstream press. It is the kind of information that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? It discussed the 5 taboos of American life, which is politics, religion, health, human sexuality, and child rearing. Okay, it contains more information, this newsletter, than on our websites or in our talk shows. It is the very foundation of this organization. It is the very best way to join our organization. And what you do is you go to newslettercensored.com, you read all the hard-hitting information there, you click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, you get your free annual subscription to Newsletter Censored. Okay, you need Newsletter Censored in the end times. You need Newsletter Censored to teach you how to defeat a conservative. Okay, and you need it as a foundation of truth for living a successful, happy life of enlightenment, not necessarily about greed like Republicans want to teach you, but enlightenment, the real truth, the real hard-hitting truth. It starts off, this is the new article, the new volume, number 118, titled Without Natural Affection, which comes from the Bible, Scripture, and then followed by If There's Room, Tidbits, which I believe there is not, and then followed by The God Project with the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity, D.D., okay, and he tells you what the Bible really has to say, not what right-wing fundamentalists like Tim Tebow would, and the Republican candidates for 2012, not what they tell you the Bible says, what the Bible really has to say. And then last but not least, Sexuality, a Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. So that's it. The backbone of our organization, the foundation of our organization. You need Newsletter Censored. We are living in the end times. This is hard-hitting information that you will never hear anywhere else. Never. Okay, and don't forget to check out, when you go to newslettercensored.com, check out Dr. Bill for President. He ran before as an independent progressive, and he's running again. I believe this is the 3rd time. And the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman will teach you how to write in a candidate. In this case, him. You can write in the candidate. Whether any election in the United States is 100% honest and accounted for, I don't know. Anything's possible.
Well, not only
in capitalism.
not honest, but in many of the states and everything, and said you have to get so many signatures to get on the ballot.
Right.
It's just a way of keeping people off the ballot.
Right. And what about money in politics?
And then money.
Campaign funding keeps people off the ballot.
And then running around the country giving stupid stump speeches that are but nothing more than PR pieces. What the hell does this tell you about a candidate? Look at his record. Look what he's done over the years.
And what about...
Look at his position papers.
And what about a highly qualified, good human being that's an independent that wants to be president and doesn't have the money but has the qualifications, no doubt. That person never gets invited to debates. You never see any independent nowadays invited to the debates. Only the two-party system is invited to the debates. And who's in bed with the elitists and big corporations? The two-party system. The Democrats are business people and kiss ass and polish knobs of corporate CEOs just like the Republicans do.
If you get people in there who want to really talk about real issues, the two parties don't want to have anything to do with that.
You mean the real hard-hitting...
They want their PR scripts, their talking points, and that's it.
And photo opportunities?
Kiss the baby, shake the hand.
Photo opportunities?
Photo ops.
Like when Hurricane Irene hit the Northeast and New Jersey got clobbered with the floods, Chris Christie went around putting his arms around senior citizens and kissing babies or whatever he did. And
and the next thing you know, he cuts the funding for babies and senior citizens.
Yeah,
crap.
he has compassion during Irene because I think it had to do with getting federal funding for the victims. It had nothing to do with funding from the state. If it had to do with funding from the state,
forget about it.
Forget about it. No, he would want to barbecue the poor, put the poor babies on a rotisserie and eat them. You know, but anyway, are you done with your lunch?
Put them in prison where they can make a buck for some private firm.
Yeah, free labor. An excuse to bring back slavery. Put them in a FEMA concentration camp. You know, I know I'm being very tough by saying that, but you know what?
Truth is truth.
We are about the hard-hitting truth. Excuse me. You know, we're not gonna sugarcoat or candy coat, you know, like Willy Wonka would. We're not into that. Sugarcoating it, making nice, you know, because the average person, there's a lot of people out there, when you go online and you read comments on Facebook or maybe Twitter. I don't have Twitter, so I wouldn't know. YouTube videos. There's a lot of people who don't want to make waves. And if you criticize a little too much, they call you a hater. So, anyway, back to the articles.
Flanked by business executives, President Obama urged employers on Wednesday to create jobs in the United States rather than ship them overseas, and offered to propose tax incentives to help them. Well, my gosh. They don't pay any taxes now!
They don't pay anything. What are they bitching and moaning about?
So how the hell is tax incentives going to keep jobs in the United States? He's just going and kissing ass, man. Kissing ass.
The jobs are not created in the United States. Excuse me.
I'm incredibly optimistic about our prospects, Obama said, about the economy after meeting with more than a dozen corporate and small business leaders whose firms have succeeded to one degree or another in bringing jobs back to the United States.
Back? How? By forcing America to work for peanuts?
Well, I guess they
for minimum wage or less?
That's probably what happened. They probably got the wages down to a level where they think they can, make exorbitant profits.
Well, what about something called the cost of living in America?
Well, who cares about that?
How do you pay your bills?
Hey, did the Catholic Church worry about the cost of living for those peasants in Rome when the church was selling all that shit to them? Huh? Who cares about peasants?
Well, what about if you're running a business that depends on the consumer, and the consumer happens to be a little guy, and the little guy doesn't have the surplus cash to buy products?
That part of it is not part of the equation.
So they're very short term, and
short term.
Their way of thinking is very short term.
Every quarter.
The right wingers only care about every quarter. What happens per quarter? Interesting.
How much they make is posted, and that helps their stock rise.
How much they spend, the overhead, how much they make.
No, they're not interested in profit.
They're interested in the stock rising. So the CEO always, if you have a complaint, the CEO blames the shareholders. I notice. right.
A day after his Republican adversaries competed in the New Hampshire primary, Obama sought to grab back the spotlight and underscore his focus on the economy by convening a high-profile White House forum on how to increase employment and stem the loss of hundreds of thousands of jobs that had been sent overseas. Obama did not mention any of his potential Republican challenges during his public remarks. But two participants in the forum, Atlanta Mayor Qasim Reed and United Steelworkers President Leo Gerard, who is a good guy, by the way,
Yes, okay.
compared Obama favorably to Mitt Romney, who on Tuesday won the New Hampshire Republican primary and solidified his lead over the GOP presidential field. Gerard said his union represented workers in companies that had been acquired by Romney's former firm, Bain Capital, and that eventually were shut down.
He's the guy to say he loves to fire people. That's when David Letterman says, "Well, Rick Perry, that's not too bad. Rick Perry loves to execute people." That was the joke about him loving to fire people. You know, typical businessman. You know.
From our point of view, this president, from day one, has tried to create jobs, not cut jobs. As a result, the day had all the feel of a presidential counterpunch to the Republican candidates, and particularly to Romney, who has sought to portray Obama as a foe of free enterprise. Now, the definition of free enterprise, of course, is they're allowed to do anything they want, but the little guy can't.
Yeah, deregulation of businesses. So if you have compassion for the little guy and the middle class and the poor, then you're a foe of free market capitalism and democracy.
Free enterprise, yeah.
Free enterprise. And if you're a selfish, greedy, stingy scumbag, then you're a friend of free enterprise. Which means, hold on while I put my things away. Which means that I need my shillelagh. Hold on. I need my shillelagh. Which means that free market capitalism, the free enterprise system, is the devil's economics. And it is proven to be so time and time and time and time and time again. Get that through your heads, you lemmings out there that post all these stupid, idiotic comments on the internet, and you don't know what you're talking about. You're talking out of your ass. Now, most people, they do. No, he did that with his mouth. Only I do.
Oh, they did that with their ass.
Yeah. Now, they say. Well, actually, it's a known fact that most people in America do not bother to go out and vote. And you know, I guess people feel no matter who you vote for, it will be the same old thing. And they're right. If it's two-party system, if you vote for the two-party system, it will be the same old business as usual. You know, the media won't cover a good independent candidate because they're not in bed with the fat cats, with corporations. That's the problem.
Obama highlighted big and small firms ranging from Ford to a North Carolina specialty furniture company as examples of enterprises that have invested in the United States rather than abroad. He called on other companies to do the same with the help of government incentives. Why not just do it on their own?
Right.
If there's such patriotic companies. The White House says the president will propose $12 million in his 2013 budget to promote business investment from overseas in the United States. $12 million. A drop in the bucket
A mere bag of shells?
A mere bag of shit.
Like Ralph Cramden used to say?
Obama has already proposed tax incentives, including a cut in employers' Social Security tax. Now, you see, all of this stuff with the cutting of the payroll are just small, incremental ways of destroying Social Security.
Oh yeah, that's next on the chopping block. They don't want any social program. So
And
it's
look who it's coming from.
so it's like what my conservative aunt, some people say aunt, what she said to me years ago. Social Security was meant to be a supplement to your retirement, not the main source of your income. Well, it's easy to say that when you are financially independent, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's easy to say that. You
But
know?
if someone who's living paycheck to paycheck is building up their 401k or their, what's the other one?
Keo?
No. Yeah, but there's another one. Anyway,
Their nest egg.
for retirement, I got news for you. After you pay your rent, after you pay your food, after you pay your transportation, after you pay your other bills, you ain't got too much left for your 401k. Now, let's look down the road 30, 40 years.
All the Thurston Howell the thirds that are saving up. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's where these things work. That's my point I'm trying to make. Those things work for those who already have. They do not work for someone who's trying from paycheck to paycheck to try to accumulate.
Yeah.
Because after 30, 40 years, you've been making, hey, as the article shows in Without Natural Affection, only 18% of Americans make $20 an hour.
Hear that?
Now, try to put some moolah away every month or whatever for your 401k, and I can guarantee you, by the time you're retired, you may have enough to live on for 5 or 10 years. Maybe.
You mean at the present increase that the cost of living is headed for? At the present increase?
Well, yeah, for like, say for today, not 30, 40 years from now.
Oh.
When who the hell knows what the dollar is going to be worth?
Yeah, I mean, and then especially and when Chris Christie retires with his grocery bill, it will be even worse for him. I mean, he better have a pretty huge nest egg. I'm sure he will, but
Christie probably has about 2 or 3 freezers in his house.
I think maybe he's got like an underground. He might have an underground bunker with many walk-in freezers loaded with enough food.
Hanging beef, baby. Hanging beef. Where's the beef?
Hanging beef. Maybe,
Yeah, sides of beef.
yeah, or
You know?
maybe cured hanging homeless. Maybe that's what he wants.
Yeah. Soylent Green.
Soylent Green. You know, since he has no compassion for. Since homeless people are living in tents, and they're threatening to evict them from the woods. Big deal. They're living a lap of luxury by being in the woods. You know, I mean, nothing surprises me.
As if to underscore the political stakes,
Uh-huh.
Obama called for new jobs to take root, not in China or Germany, but in places like Michigan and Ohio, and Virginia and North Carolina. Right now, we're at a unique moment, an inflection point, a period where we've got the opportunity for those jobs to come back. And the business leaders in this room, they are ahead of the curve. They recognize it. But among the causes behind the new spate of hiring is the lack of wage growth in the United States. See? Because wages are so cheap, that's why they can bring the jobs back. So, what are we getting out of it? Us wage slaves.
Wage slaves, people working from, living from paycheck to paycheck, with no surplus cash or very little, and no money for retirement.
Well, you can't really get the Minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. That works out to $15,000 a year.
Big deal.
Now, if you live in Bergen County here in New Jersey, you're paying $1,200, $1,300, or $1,400 for a 3.5-room apartment.
It's insane. It's insane. You hear that?
Now, when you pay that out of your $15,000, what the hell you got left for food?
Got shit.
That's right.
Shit from Shinola.
So all things are relative, and this is conveniently forgotten by the GOP and their enablers.
Because these things that we're talking about are not naturally the problems of the rich. So if it's not their problem, they don't care.
Yeah.
Period. And it's hey, when is an animal most dangerous, right? When it has absolutely nothing to lose, when it's backed into a corner. Well, the same thing's going to happen with the mainstream masses. Torches and pitchforks.
A fact that for those wishing to rise to the middle class. Indeed, Hal Sirkin of Boston Consulting Group, a participant in the forum, said, "Not only are United States workers more productive than Chinese workers, but wages in countries such as China are rising at a rapid rate."
Oh, they are?
Yeah, that's why they're shipping the jobs back here. That's what I just said.
Oh, for God's sake. Wait a minute. Weren't they forced? Weren't they first outsourced to, like, India? And then the people in India smartened up?
But that's what's happening
And
now.
then went to China, and now the Chinese are wising up.
And Singapore, and etc. And that's what's happening.
And the
wages start rising in those countries now, and the United States looks better and better.
The desperate schmucks here in the United States that are living in tents and unemployed and everything, they're starting... Interesting.
They turned us into a third world country, and now the wages rise in those real third world countries, and now we look better. See, that's what the point is. It's a simple mathematical equation. It will mean that it is a lot easier to retain jobs in the United States, and it will be a lot easier to attract jobs back to the United States. See? As long as the United States has cheap wages, we will have jobs.
Desperation, desperate people. Excuse me. People that are desperate for survival. Like this upper management woman. We used to call her Helmet Head because she had so much hairspray in her hair. It looked like a helmet. She was a corporate ass kisser. This was many years ago. She says to me, my take on all of this is that if Americans were desperate enough, they'll do anything. They'll work for minimum wage or less. They'll get on their hands and knees and do anything if they're desperate enough. And that's what these corporations want.
Exactly.
And like I said before, the devil's economics.
It's not about patriotism. Although I know everybody on stage with me here is just as patriotic. Bullshit.
Yeah, sure. As long as that moolah's rolling in, as long as they're living high on the hog, they will be playing John Philip Sousa marches. They will be very patriotic.
It is about the underlying economics.
They're whores.
But any move toward insourcing is fighting a powerful trend. United States multinational corporations have been adding jobs overseas, partly because that's where an increasingly large share of their sales are.
And in the words of a former classmate of mine, Mr. Douglas Broadbent of Ridgewood, New Jersey, he said to me, these corporations, these corporate CEOs, they do what they do simply because they can.
That's correct.
And why do they can? Because our elected leaders let them do it.
That's correct.
And why do they let them do it? Because our leaders... Moolah, the vicious cycle, the revolving door. They're paid off. Their palms are greased. and it goes round, round, and around and around.
Companies in the Standard & Poor's 500 index now earn more than half of their revenue from overseas. That has prompted large U.S. multinationals to reduce United States jobs and add them overseas. Then why do they keep bringing the products back here?
The Americans get broker and broker, poorer and poorer, and have less money to spend. They send the jobs overseas. They make the products overseas. They bring the products back to the United States to be sold. And then Americans have less money to spend. So they probably say, oh, gee, sales are down. What do we do? What on earth what do we do? Do we send... Now, if... What are they, I mean, they can't send the products back to mainland China because the Chinese, the monetary system is not, it's not exactly the Japanese yen, right, or the U.S. dollar, or the euro. I don't know. It's very bizarro world.
The Supreme Court seemed reluctant Tuesday to end the government's historic policing of the broadcast airwaves to strike down the indecency rules that guide primetime television shows. Broadcasters use the public airwaves, and the government can insist on a certain modicum of decency, Justice Antonin Scalia said.
Oh, that jerk.
During oral arguments on the constitutionality of a ban on four-letter words and nudity. All we are asking for is for a few channels where parents can be confident their children will not hear profanity or see sex scenes, said Chief Justice John G. Roberts, Jr.
Yeah, like kids are not thinking that to begin with. These are puritanical right-wing ideas coming from him, right?
Who is father of two young children. Don't forget, Mr. Roberts believes that if you can brush your teeth, you are not disabled.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to survive if you're that disabled?
He doesn't care.
How are you going to find a job? What job are you going to find? How much money is the disabled or the poor schmuck going to make? Are you going to pay your bills? Are you going to be able to survive with the high cost of living in any American city?
He doesn't care. He favors Toyota over the person.
He just wants, like all right-wingers, to terminate every single social program and arrange it so that all the money gets funneled up to the rich, and the rich don't pay taxes, and profits remain in the top 1%, okay? And they don't think long-term because, hey, if you got a corporation and you produce a product, somebody has to buy it. Well, Americans won't have the money to buy it. Like I said before, they don't think long-term.
At issue before the High Court was a plea from the broadcast industry urging the justices to strike down or sharply limit the government's authority to police the airwaves. In the past decade, Bush administration appointees at the Federal Communications Commission launched a crackdown on indecency. Several TV networks, including Fox and ABC, were hit with heavy fines. Fox was fined for allowing celebrities, including singer Cher and U2's Bono, to utter four-letter words during live awards programs.
Gee, a lot different from European television, isn't it?
ABC was fined for showing a brief nude scene in an episode of NYPD Blue.
Listen,
however,
your slutty little teenage daughters are doing it. Your sons are doing it. They're all doing it. They're all humping like a bunch of
Hamsters.
hamsters? Rats.
Hamsters
Sewer
humping.
rats.
However, broadcasters noted airing Saving Private Ryan, the World War II movie by Steven Spielberg, was permitted, even though it included plenty of four-letter words. That prompted Justice Elena Kagan to quip, "It seems no one can use dirty words except Steven Spielberg."
Yeah.
Lawyers for the networks urged the Supreme Court to throw out the fines and strike down the FCC's indecency rules as arbitrary, outdated, and unwarranted.
Oh, by the way, this show, Internet Talk Radio, is corporate and FCC free, baby.
Baby.
Baby. Now, I wonder if Time Warner Access Channel 23, our friends up there, I wonder if progressive discussions will be allowed to be aired after midnight, because the rules are a little different after midnight. I wonder if my occasional curse word will be permitted after midnight.
Probably not.
You have a funny feeling it won't be allowed, but it's after midnight.
Doesn't matter.
What a bunch of
Family
jerks.
oriented, baby.
Family oriented. Even after
Hey, you
midnight.
know what else is on after midnight?
Jerks. What?
Nickelodeon.
Hey, your kids should be in bed. Your young children that watch Nickelodeon, that watch iCarly and SpongeBob, should not be up after midnight. You know what? I might as well bring it up. What do we got? One more article?
If I can get through it.
Maybe not.
And this is a very interesting
How
one.
much? Are you facing a new article?
This particular article will tell you what I've been trying to explain to you about Mr. Rick Santorum and his fetus display.
Wait a minute. That's a very important article. I just want to say, talking about overprotecting and coddling America's children, Dr. Bill, why are crossing guards, school crossing guards in northern New Jersey, why do they cross adults and older teenagers that are often bigger and taller than the crossing guards, and kids with facial hair? Why are they crossing kids, teenagers, and adults that should know better and know how to properly cross the street without getting run over? Aren't America's youth being overprotected and coddled?
It's their job.
I know they're spoiled. Wait, it's their job to cross older
At
kids?
those particular times.
Older kids?
During school hours,
Yeah.
yes, they are responsible.
Why are they responsible for crossing adults and big kids? Older kids?
Because they are responsible at that time.
At that time.
Yeah.
So they are instructed to do so from the time school closes,
Open, still closed.
recess. I mean, the kids get out at, let's say, 3:15 p.m. It's their job to cross everybody.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Anyway, the last article for
Today.
this new Progressive Discussions, number 102. Go ahead.
After a very long night and a dead heat tie in the Iowa caucuses,
Right.
Rick Santorum and Mitt Romney made speeches. Romney's was unexceptional. It was a version of his stump speech, filled with political emotion. He quoted, as always, from America the Beautiful.
Hype. Right-wing
PR.
hype. PR.
Talking points.
Talking points. Typical of Republicans.
But were bereft of personal feeling.
Emotional hype.
Santorum's speech, however, was very personal. He talked about his grandfather, the Italian immigrant who became a Pennsylvania coal miner. He talked about kneeling at his grandfather's coffin as a child, looking at his gnarled hands, enormous hands. Those hands dug freedom for me.
Oh, really? He's making a point, I guess.
It was a lovely moment, and perhaps a defining one for Santorum as a candidate for president. The first time a significant number of Americans, at least those political junkies who stayed up late, had seen him as something more than the young-looking guy down at the end of the stage in debates. In that moment, he seemed the spirit incarnate of the emerging Republican Party. Working class, populist, devout, passionate to the point of intemperance on a range of issues.
Oh, yeah.
Very much the antithesis of Romney.
Yeah, yeah.
Santorum was not well liked by his colleagues in Congress. He was seen as brash, whiny, intense, puerile. A fellow senator once called Santorum is Latin for asshole.
Oh, doesn't that describe most right-wing politicians?
He can still be obnoxious on the stump. He once blamed the Catholic sex abuse scandal in Massachusetts on the academic, political, and cultural liberalism.
What? What the hell does that have to do with liberalism?
He was giving a pass to the priests and to the Catholic Church. Because he is a Catholic, by the way.
Oh, so a Catholic can do no wrong.
That's what it was.
The Vatican can do no
But
wrong.
liberalism in academia can.
Oh, I guess it's the same mentality that feels that, gee, a right-wing corrupt politician should never be accountable for what they do. If you're corrupt, as long as you're of the same ideology as them,
Don't bring it up.
You should get away with your crimes.
He has made brutal remarks about homosexuality as a threat to American morality.
Right.
A few days before the caucuses, he said, "I don't want to make black people's lives better by giving them somebody else's money."
Okay. Keep the jobs in America so everybody will be able to get a job, a decent job. Don't outsource anything. There you go. You don't want to give. You don't want to help the poor with rich people's money in America. Then sanitarium, whatever you want to call yourself. Make sure the jobs stay in the United States.
That's just a cover for no taxing of the rich.
Okay, no taxing the rich. Okay, no taxing the rich. Okay, where are the jobs? They're not in the United States. All right, so what do? Hey, you know what? A major revolution is probably inevitable.
I want to give them the opportunity to go out and earn the money.
Where's the jobs?
Presumably, though, he would have to use somebody else's money for that sort of program.
Of course.
Like the GI Bill that enabled the generation of coal miners' children to go to college.
Now you're lucky if you get a retail or hamburger flipping job. Lucky.
He can be dangerously simplistic on foreign policy. The only candidate who has boldly said he would bomb Iran's nuclear facilities. But Rick Santorum is more than the sum of his prejudices. Unlike a great many other political loudmouths, he lives his faith. I got to know Santorum and his wife Karen about 15 years ago, when we had several intense conversations about the death in childbirth of their son Gabriel.
Gabriel?
Karen.
It was a fetus.
Karen nearly died.
They named it? Yeah.
From septic shock. But she refused to have an induced birth, an abortion, in effect. In retrospect, she admitted to me that she wasn't thinking clearly at the time.
Yeah.
She had 3 other children at home.
Yeah.
But the senator abided by her wishes to go through with a regular delivery.
Mm-hmm.
After Karen miscarried, the Santorums brought the dead child home overnight so their other children could see that he was a beautiful, tiny little baby.
Oh, really? Was it, how old was the fetus?
It was a fetus.
Yeah. Well, these right-wing religious nuts like Rick, is his first name Rick, by the way?
Yeah.
Rick Santorum, just like your Tim Tebow's out there, they probably think that a conception, a fertilized egg, is a human being.
Yes, they do.
and they don't like it, and
conception occurs at birth. I mean, the conception.
And
life begins at conception.
Right, and they don't like stem cell research.
No, because that's.
But I'm sure somebody, a paralyzed, handicapped person, who is living a life that is extremely horrible. I'm sure that they would think highly of what the Republicans, their views on stem cell research. They would probably curse Santorum out if Santorum said denied them stem cell research.
Unfortunately, the Santorums of the world have it within their power to control these things, and therein lies the problem.
Interesting.
Santorum told me, subsequently, Karen gave birth to a girl with a severe congenital birth defect. Standing behind her father on the Iowa podium, 6 Santora children, all of them homeschooled, wore buttons with a picture of their beloved 3-year-old sister. They are a remarkable family. Santorum is also more than the sum of his positions on social issues. In the contest to come, he will pose a significant working-class challenge to Romney's corporate conservatism. Santorum opposed the Wall Street bailout, and he worries about the Romney style of private equity capitalism that has cost so many factory jobs.
Yeah, he opposes the Wall Street bailout, but if he was president, would he still oppose the Wall Street bailout?
I don't think so.
Interesting.
He has proposed eliminating the corporate tax on manufacturing. In his Iowa speech, he spoke about why he would tax retail operations at a higher rate than manufacturing. See that? Tax the people instead of the business. Tax the people.
The burden of taxation remains on the middle class.
That's correct.
It never lifts off the middle class. Never the rich.
Walmart isn't moving to China, he said. A real debate on these issues between Romney and Santorum could be valuable. Romney is still the overwhelming
favorite.
All right, that's just Romney now. So
how many Walmarts? How many Walmarts does Rick Santorum expect to be built and exist in the United States? What is he trying to say? Walmart will save America's employment dilemma?
What he's saying. What he's saying is, if we tax the people when they buy something, it's not going to make Walmart move to China.
Oh.
But if we tax Walmart, then they might move to China.
If you tax Walmart,
God forbid.
Walmart will pay their fair share in taxes.
Oh, God forbid.
And number one. And number two, Walmart makes so much profit that paying their fair share in taxes will never hurt Walmart. It'll be like a gnat or a mosquito, trying to annoy maybe a gorilla or something, or an elephant, or it would not hurt them at all, believe me.
That's correct.
And since the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman has told me many times, the cost of labor for corporations is a write-off. It's tax deductible, right?
Yeah.
So, you know what? They lie. When corporations cry poverty, they lie. I was actually...
Corporate tax is the lowest it's ever been.
One of the people in my building had problems with her phone, and unfortunately, she still has Verizon. I don't. I have everything on cable, digital, everything's on cable. I have a cable modem for the computer. I have the cable, digital cable for the home telephone, and of course cable TV. All right, because I hate Verizon with a passion. But I've had very bad experiences with Verizon. They're very greedy. They're vile. I hate them with a passion. And they wanted to screw their union workers during that strike, or the threat of strike at that time. Anyway, he was telling me, the gentleman was telling me, that they wanted to screw the union workers pretty badly you know, and they you know, they cry poverty all the time, but they lie. All these corporations lie. They make more than enough maximum profit for their shareholders to flourish.
Yeah, they do make enough, but that's what the whole thing is about. Since like 30, 35 years,
Yeah.
it's been all about all the benefits of the society must go to the rich and business.
Yeah. And CEOs are terribly overrated and overpaid. The paper pushers.
Paper pushers.
You know, with the golden parachutes.
You can drive a company down into the ground and walk away with, you know, with a golden parachute that is magnificent.
Speaking about they don't have those stinking 401ks. They have golden parachutes.
The corporate American CEOs, I will say something very profound and funny at the same time. The corporate American CEOs have the golden parachute, but what mainstream America, the middle class and the poor get is not the golden parachute, yet they get the golden shower. Pissle down economics of being urinated on by the fat cats. Not trickle down, pissle down, I call it. Okay, the golden shower is what you get if you're a little guy.
Now, how do you?
I'm a very witty guy, man, ain't I?
How do you motivate the little guy to understand these things?
The real hard-hitting truth that will not be found in mainstream media or the press. Education.
But they will not attend to those things.
No, they'll listen to mainstream. And why do they listen to mainstream?
You have a couple of friends that say what?
Because they're stupid, that's why.
What do they say?
My friends?
Yeah. We are not interested in...
Oh, two of my buddies. Oh, you know we're not... I'm going to quote them. Let's see. Oh, we're not interested in politics and serious issues that you and Dr. Bill talk about. You know, we're not into that. We're into partying and chicks and drinking and getting high, brother.
The blow, man, the blow.
Yeah, in other words, the hedonism. They're interested in the hedonistic aspects of life, the feel-good aspects of life. Everything's about feel and taste for the moment. For the moment. They don't think about tomorrow. Oh, it feels good. Oh, it tastes good. Therefore, we do it. You know, I know people that use anabolic steroids. Man, it makes me strong, makes me strong. It's all good. That's what he says all the time. It's all good. No matter what I tell him, it's all good. I'm getting jacked up. I'm big. I drink gallons of vodka a week. Gives me a good buzz. I feel good. Everything is feel. The dude doesn't even use contraception with all the girls he bangs. He doesn't believe in condoms because he don't like it. It's inconveniencing him. He don't want to wear the raincoat. He wants to feel good. He wants to feel. You know, this is how these people are. You know, and the people, you know.
There are STDs.
Isn't that a florist that makes quick deliveries?
No, that's FTD.
Oh, FTD. Yeah. STD? Is that the old Ford STD?
Sexually transmitted diseases.
Oh, that was LTD. Ford LTD.
That was a Ford LTD.
Sexually transmitted diseases, right. Now, the thing is, only the shillelagh is immune to those.
Oh, boy.
But the point is that they don't care about where the country is going, you know, to hell in a handbasket, where their own lives. They think somebody else is going to fix the problem.
There you go.
They think somebody else is going to go out and vote for the right person. Somebody else is going to fix the problem. They don't want to get involved. People don't want to get involved.
That's like a childish attitude, isn't it? Like my daddy will fix it.
Somebody else will fix it.
My mammy.